was smart to turn to Paradox for help.
What's going on, you guys? Today, I'm going to give you my guide on how to play Paradox. Paradox is one of my favorite characters. Let's jump into her abilities, starting with Pulse Grenade, which I think used to be called Time Bomb. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an AoE that applies damage. Movement slow if you're in the AoE. Not only that, but it has damage stacking amplification. So basically, if someone's in there for a long time, it's going to do more damage to them. And best of all, this is basically just a free wave clear every time you use it, probably mid-game and farther up. So this ability is not only great for combat, but it is super useful for clearing out creep waves. Next, we've got Time Wall. This thing is awesome. Basically, it stops all bullets and projectiles from hitting you, and not only that, but if an enemy touches the wall, it does 10% of their max health. So this is great for those close fights, or of course, when you use your ultimate. The only thing to take note of is that the cooldown is super long on this thing, but thankfully, once you level it up a couple of times, you do get an extra charge, and then the cooldown's not as long between charges, but still, you want to use this one wisely. Her next ability, Kinetic Carbine, is very unique, and in the early and late game, in my opinion, it has different uses. Early in the game, you can kind of poke people for around 150 to 200-ish damage, and that will actually harass your lane opponent a lot from a very far distance. Later on in the mid to late game, you're definitely going to purchase some movement speed, so that's going to really help you get from A to B for your next move, because you get some movement speed boost, and you don't necessarily even have to shoot it, but this will definitely help for escaping or moving around to the next team fight. Finally, let's talk about her ultimate, Paradoxal Swap. Basically, if you hit this, it's going to swap places with you and an enemy, and this is the time where you pull out your W, and you're going to do 10% of their max health when you hit this. But not only that, something you have to realize is while you're being swapped in the air, this is a perfect chance for your team to totally shred the opponent. So basically, if you hit this in a team fight, and you pull an enemy into your team, it's going to be a free kill. So, with that in mind, let's talk about the items, because obviously this character is very unique, very strange, and very different from some of the other characters. When it comes to items, you're going to definitely want to start with Basic Magazine, because she actually has a pretty good clear when it comes to just her basic shooting. Next, you want to go with Restorative Shot, just to have a little bit of sustain in the lane. Next, you want to go for Extra Health, just in case you end up getting in a close quarter situation and you don't want to die right away. Next, you definitely need Sprint Boots. I feel like this character's biggest weakness early on is its inability to move around the map. It doesn't have very much mobility, if any mobility at all. Eventually, Kinetic Carbine helps you out, but you do want to get extra stamina just for some more movement. And then finally, the last early game item you want to get is Mystic Reach, just to empower your Pulse Grenade, because that's going to be your strongest clearing and farming tool for the early game. Next, for mid game, you definitely want to get some superior stamina. I would say after that, consider Fortitude, just so you can kind of be in the team fights. This is not really like a solo farmer for the whole game, maybe a little bit of farming early on, but you're definitely a team fighter and you want to help out as much as possible. On top of that, let's get improved cooldown just to help out with our second ability, and of course, you know, improving the cooldown of our ult would be great too. Now let's talk about the main items that she wants. I think the most important item for Paradox is going to be the Diviner's Kevlar. The reason for this, other than the awesome cooldown reduction and some Spirit Lifesteal, is that when she casts her ultimate ability, she gets some Bullet Shield, Spirit Shield, and also Spirit Power. Now, the Spirit Power is not the big thing, but having the Spirit Shield and Bullet Shield, when you use your ult, you're not going to instantly die. So even if it's a 5 or 6v6 team fight, there's probably going to be a good chance that you can get out of there alive, or even stay alive long enough to help out your team just a little bit more. Because let's be honest, when you use this ult, and it's a big team fight, you're just asking to die. Now, it's usually going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but with this thing, it might be a 1-for-0 trade. You might just get the kill, and you might get out alive, and who knows, maybe the team fight will actually go better, and you'll end up wiping the whole team after that for not dying. So in my opinion, this is a must. The next thing, obviously, is going to be Siphon Bullets. This is just so ridiculous, and with her fast fire rate, this is just going to keep you alive even longer. So imagine it's mid to late game, the death timers are getting a little bit longer, you ult in, you have Diviner's Kevlar, you're super tanky at this point, and you happen to have siphon bullets, so even if you're trapped, you still might be able to not only kill some enemies, but definitely sustain a lot longer, stealing some of their max HP, and considering she has a SMG or like burst rifle, this is going to stack up pretty quick. And extra items you can use Mystic Slow, so whenever the target takes spirit damage, they have their movement speed and fire rate reduced, so basically, if they're caught in your pulse grenade, they're going to be slowed down anyways. Next we have Hunter's Aura, which is basically going to reduce the enemy's armor and fire rate, and if there's only one enemy hero nearby, this effect is tripled, so in a 1v1, this is basically going to be a GG later on late game. They won't be able to do anything against you. They're going to have to run away, they're going to waste their time, and not only that, but this will give your team an opportunity to kind of jump in. You know, this is going to be the time where you push. There's going to be one enemy that's just like basically out of combat, or they're dead. They're going to have to run away or they die. Finally, an extra item you can consider if you do have enough souls left is going to be Leech, because you're going to apply some healing reduction, and of course you're going to get some awesome stats. When you're playing Paradox, I feel like in a 1v1 lane, she's actually a formidable foe. You can clear waves super easily, you can kind of harass the enemy, and especially with Pulse Grenade, or I believe it was Time Bomb, you can clear waves super easy. You'll actually be pushing the enemy's first tower pretty fast. On top of that, you have to keep in mind that you're not going to be able to roam very easily, so farm as much as possible. You're probably not going to be jungling too much. You want to use that side chop as best you can. Once you finally get sprint boots, extra stamina, you can consider starting to move around the map. At this time, you probably have your ultimate. This is kind of when you want to consider getting improved cooldown, so superior stamina, and if you find yourself farming more often, definitely get fortitude. At this point, you're basically just saving up, following the team, and eventually Diviner's Kevlar is going to be the moment where your champion just becomes extremely powerful. On top of that, you want to save up for Siphon Bullets just to make the effect even more deadly. And of course, if you save up some extra souls, you can get Mystic Slow, Hunter's Aura, or Leech. I feel like this character is probably the best in team fights. She loses immediately when it's a 1v2, so try your best not to go in solo and clear everything out. Even with the best skill, even with all headshots, she gets outnumbered very easily. 1v1 situations, I feel like she's very, very powerful. Other than that, you're going to have to wait for a 6v6 team fight. But that's it, guys. If you want to check out my Paradox build, it's going to be in-game. You just have to browse builds, look for BrunoDGames, you'll find Paradox build, and it also has skill order. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see ya in the next one.